All right, so picture this. You want to learn Spanish, right?
Wait.
But you're not thinking like boring classroom. You're thinking beach in Ibiza,
Ooh.
sun and sand, maybe a little sangria. Well, that's what we're going to be diving into today. Ibiza.
Interesting.
Yeah. Turns out it's a surprisingly great place to learn Spanish. We've got this article here from Discover Ibiza. It's about 5 amazing language schools that are actually on the island.
Okay.
And trust me, it's not your typical language learning scene.
Yeah. Ibiza. I mean, most people think of it and they think like all-night parties.
Yeah, for sure.
But the island actually has this rich culture
Right.
that's perfect for like really immersing yourself in the Spanish language.
Okay, so like, what does cultural immersion actually mean for someone who wants to learn Spanish?
Well, it's more than just memorizing a bunch of words and grammar, right? I mean, think about it this way. Like, you can learn the word for beach from a textbook.
Right.
But you're not going to truly understand it until you're actually standing on a beach in Ibiza, feeling the sand, hearing people, locals, chatting in Spanish all around you.
I gotcha.
So that's cultural immersion.
So it's like living the language,
Yeah.
not just studying it.
Exactly.
Okay. So how do these schools in Ibiza, how do they use this cultural immersion idea to actually help you learn?
So this Discover Ibiza article, it gives some good advice on what to look for when you're picking a program.
Okay.
And they mention things like small class sizes, which means you get more attention from the teacher, right?
Yeah.
And then activities that actually get you out there experiencing Spanish culture.
So like what kind of activities?
Like cooking classes, dance workshops. They even have sailing trips.
Wait, learning Spanish while sailing around Ibiza?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Right. And that's part of it. When you're relaxed and having fun,
Yeah.
your brain is just more open to learning.
Totally. All right, let's get into some of these schools. The first one on the list here is Instituto de Idiomas Ibiza.
Okay.
And they seem to be all about combining language learning with, well, everything.
Yeah, so what's really cool about Instituto de Idiomas Ibiza is they offer these combination classes where you might be learning like verb conjugations 1 minute, and then the next minute you're out doing yoga or learning to sail.
So it's not just about learning the language, you're experiencing it through activities that you're interested in.
Right.
That's cool.
Like hands-on experience really solidifies your learning because you're not just memorizing words, you're connecting them to real life.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, next we have the Ibiza Language School.
Okay.
Now this one seems like it'd be perfect for someone who wants to, like, ditch the textbook and just start speaking Spanish right away.
Yeah, they focus on conversational Spanish. It's a method that emphasizes practical phrases and everyday situations you would encounter in Ibiza.
So you're learning how to, like, order tapas, ask for directions, chat with locals about the best beaches to go to?
Exactly. It's all about getting comfortable using the language.
Nice.
You can gain fluency and confidence quickly.
All right, I'm already picturing myself confidently ordering paella in fluent Spanish. Let's move on to Academia de Español Ibiza. What makes this one stand out?
So Academia de Español Ibiza, they're really big on small class sizes, which, as the article says, it's great for getting personalized attention from your teacher.
Yeah.
Like imagine having a language coach that can actually focus on your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know when I was learning Spanish, I really struggled with verb tenses. Having that one-on-one time with a teacher would have been great.
And think about it. In a small class, you're also more likely to feel comfortable practicing, even if you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Which is crucial for building confidence.
Totally. Now, Escuela Mediterráneo Ibiza. I have to say, the idea of learning Spanish in the open air, with the Mediterranean Sea as your backdrop, that's appealing.
Right. It's the perfect example of how the environment can just enhance the whole learning experience.
Yeah.
So imagine yourself. You're conjugating verbs,
Mm-hmm.
but you're breathing in the fresh sea air, and you're surrounded by the beauty of the island.
Yeah, that just sounds so relaxing.
Right. When you're relaxed and engaged with your surroundings, you're much more likely to absorb everything.
Awesome. All right, last but not least, we have Centro de Idiomas e Intercambio Cultural Ibiza. This one seems to be all about, like, intensive learning and diving headfirst into the culture.
What's unique about this school is that they offer intensive courses for people who want to make rapid progress.
Okay.
And they also organize language exchange sessions so you can practice your Spanish with native speakers.
So you're not just learning Spanish in a classroom. You're getting real-world practice by interacting with locals.
Exactly. It's a fantastic way to build fluency and confidence because you're using the language in real situations.
Love it. Okay, so we've got schools that combine language learning with yoga and sailing. schools that focus on conversational skills, and schools that offer intensive courses and language exchanges.
And they all have one thing in common.
What's that?
They embrace this concept of cultural immersion,
Yeah.
which is really the key to truly understanding and speaking Spanish.
I'm starting to see why Ibiza might just be the perfect place to ditch the classroom and learn Spanish in a way that's fun, engaging, and maybe even a little adventurous.
Yeah, it's all about finding that right learning environment for you.
Right.
And Ibiza offers a really diverse range of options. Each one has its own unique approach to cultural immersion.
I'm kind of rethinking my approach to language learning now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little sun, sand, and sangria is what I need to finally master Spanish.
Maybe.
You know, it's funny, when I think about learning a new language, I usually picture myself hunched over a textbook, just like drilling verb conjugations.
Yeah.
But this whole Ibiza thing has me thinking,
Yeah.
what if learning Spanish could actually be enjoyable?
Oh, it absolutely can be. And that's what's so exciting about these language schools in Ibiza. They've really tapped into the idea that, like, when you're having fun and you're immersed in the culture,
Yeah.
learning just becomes this natural, almost effortless process.
So it's less about forcing yourself to memorize grammar rules and more about absorbing the language through actual experiences.
Exactly. Think about it. When you're a kid, you don't learn your native language by studying textbooks.
Right.
You learn by listening, interacting, and just like experiencing the world around you.
Yeah.
And these schools in Ibiza are basically recreating that immersive environment, but for adults.
Okay, so let's go back to some of these schools and how they actually put this idea into practice.
Yeah.
We were talking about Instituto de Idiomas Ibiza and their combination classes.
Yeah.
How do those actually work?
Okay, so let's say you're interested in sailing.
Okay.
You could take a combination class where you spend part of the day learning nautical terms and phrases in Spanish. And then you actually get out on a sailboat and practice using that vocabulary
Oh, wow.
in a real setting.
So instead of just memorizing the word for sail,
Right.
you're actually feeling the wind in your hair
Yeah.
and experiencing those words in action.
Yeah. And it's not just sailing. They offer combination classes with yoga, cooking, dancing, even hiking.
Yep.
It's about finding something that you're passionate about
Right.
and then integrating Spanish into that.
I like that. Okay, now what about Ibiza Language School? With their focus on conversational Spanish, what makes that so effective?
Well, the key is they're teaching you the Spanish that you would actually use in like everyday situations.
Okay.
You know, think about the types of conversations you might have in Ibiza, ordering food, asking for directions, maybe chatting with locals about the best places to go.
Right.
That's the type of language they prioritize.
So you're not bogged down with all these obscure grammar rules
Exactly.
or vocabulary that you'll never use.
Right. And because you're learning the language in the context of these real life situations, it's more likely to stick with you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's move on to Academia de Español Ibiza. We talked about their small class sizes, but wouldn't the lack of diverse perspectives from other students be a downside?
That's a good question. It's actually something that the article addresses.
Okay.
While you might not have as many classmates in a smaller setting, Academia de Español Ibiza makes up for it by having a lot of interaction with locals outside of the classroom.
So you're still getting exposed to a variety of accents and perspectives, even if your class is small.
Exactly. They organize things like language exchanges,
Right.
cultural excursions, even volunteer opportunities,
Nice.
all which give you the chance to interact with native Spanish speakers from all walks of life.
That's awesome. Okay, now I have to ask about Escuela Mediterráneo Ibiza. Learning Spanish outdoors, surrounded by the beauty of the island.
Yeah.
It just sounds idyllic, but is it really effective?
It might sound unconventional, but there's actually a lot of research that supports outdoor learning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Being in nature reduces stress and it improves focus,
Okay.
which can obviously enhance your ability to learn.
So it's not just about the scenery, it's about actually creating a better learning environment for your brain.
Right. And think about this, the multisensory experience of learning outdoors. You're hearing the language spoken around you. You're seeing the words come to life. Maybe you're even smelling some delicious Spanish food wafting from a nearby restaurant.
Wow, yeah.
It's like a full-on immersion experience.
That's amazing. All right, last but not least, Centro de Idiomas y Intercambio Cultural Ibiza. They offer those intensive courses for people who want to learn Spanish quickly, but wouldn't that just be overwhelming?
It can be intense, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also super effective.
How much?
So the idea is to fully immerse yourself in the language, but for a shorter period.
Right.
Which can really accelerate your progress. And remember, they also offer those language exchange sessions, which provide a more relaxed setting.
Yeah, that's good practice. So you get the best of both worlds, structured learning and real-life practice.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, we've talked a lot about the specific features of these schools, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
What about Ibiza itself makes it such a great place to learn Spanish?
Well, for one, it's a Spanish-speaking island, so you're literally surrounded by the language everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But I think beyond that, Ibiza just has this incredible energy. It's a place where people come to relax, have fun, connect with each other.
Yeah.
And that just creates a really welcoming and supportive environment for learning.
It's like the island itself is encouraging you to just let go of your inhibitions and just embrace everything.
Exactly. And when you're relaxed and open to those new experiences, you're more likely to absorb everything around you.
Okay, I have to admit, this whole deep dive has me seriously reconsidering my plans for the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a trip to Ibiza is in order.
I mean, it's definitely worth considering.
Yeah.
And remember, learning a new language is not just about acquiring a skill.
Right.
It's about opening yourself up to new perspectives and new cultures and like new ways of seeing the world.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like learning Spanish becomes this gateway to all these new experiences.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe you'll discover something about yourself along the way.
This has been so insightful.
Yeah.
I'm feeling inspired to dust off my Spanish textbook and maybe start planning that Ibiza trip.
Awesome.
So what else is there to unpack about this? So we've explored these awesome language schools in Ibiza, and it seems like they've all figured out how to make language learning fun and interesting. But I'm remembering this Discover Ibiza article.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, is there anything else we should keep in mind if we're going to choose a program?
Yeah, that's a good point. The article, it mentions a few key things to look for, like making sure the school is accredited.
Okay.
And that they have, qualified instructors.
Yeah.
It's also important to think about the curriculum and if it actually fits your learning style and your goals.
So it's not about picking the school that just sounds the coolest.
Yeah.
It's about finding the right one for you.
Exactly. And like we were talking about, remember the different approaches to learning. Some schools, like Ibiza Language School, they're all about conversational Spanish. Whereas others, like Centro de Idiomas y Intercambio Cultural Ibiza, they offer more of those intensive courses.
Yeah.
So think about what kind of learner you are and what you actually want to get out of it.
Okay, that makes sense. And how important is this whole cultural immersion thing?
Yeah.
Could you get the same results just by taking a Spanish class back home?
It's a good question. While any kind of language learning is good, there's something really special about immersing yourself in the culture where the language is actually spoken.
Right.
Remember that feeling of being on the beach in Ibiza, surrounded by all that Spanish? It's kind of hard to recreate that in just a regular classroom.
Yeah.
So it's not just about learning the language.
Yeah.
You're experiencing it. You're living it.
Totally. Okay, so let's bring this back to our listener.
Yeah.
Why should they care about learning Spanish in Ibiza? What's the big takeaway?
Okay, so think about it this way. Learning a new language, it's like you're opening this door to a whole new world. And when it comes to Spanish, it's a world that's filled with all these vibrant cultures, passionate people, and amazing experiences.
I love that. And what better place to open that door than Ibiza, right?
Yeah.
An island that's known for its beauty, its energy, its welcoming spirit.
Exactly. It's a place where you can combine language learning with adventure and relaxation and personal growth. It's about challenging yourself, stepping outside that comfort zone, and embracing new experiences.
And who knows, maybe you'll discover something new that you love, like flamenco dancing, or you'll become like a paella master. Or you'll even find yourself speaking fluent Spanish without even realizing it.
The possibilities are endless. And that's what's so cool about language learning. It's a journey that can take you to unexpected places and enrich your life in so many ways.
So if you're looking for a truly unique and transformative language learning experience, Ibiza could be the perfect spot. It's a place where you can learn Spanish, experience a new culture, and maybe even discover a new part of yourself.
And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to learn other languages and explore even more cultures around the world. The journey of language learning, it never really ends, and it all starts with taking that first step.
That's a great note to end on. So, to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into this amazing world around us.